Hello everybody, it's time for another book haul. I don't think I've done this kind of video in the last couple of weeks at least, if not months. And after Christmas, I just kind of felt like I just needed some new books. So I went on Amazon and ordered me some books. So we have like 5 or 6 boxes to go through. And without further ado, we're just gonna get into it. I'm going to start off with this little box here. I already cut it open because the box was damaged, so I wanted to see if the books were still alright. And the first book we got in that box is The Call by Peter O'Gillen. I think I've heard about this book somewhere on BookTube and had it on my wish list for quite some time, and now I just thought the price was okay to order it, so that's why I got that one. I don't even remember what it is about. I don't even know if it was sci-fi, thriller, fantasy, whatever. No idea anymore, but I'm still glad to have it. Then the next book I have is And I Darken by Kiersten White. This book has also been on my wish list for quite some time now. The price for the hardcover was in a good kind of range, so that's why I got this one. The next 2 books I got are graphic novels. They are the Saga volumes 5 and 6. I've been reading these in the last half year and I really like this series. I'm usually not really that into graphic novels, but this one is really cool, so I decided to get the next 2 volumes and have some fun with them. Then we have a little box from Amazon. Oopsie. Let's see what we have here. At the end of 2017, I finally read Ready Player One and I absolutely loved it. It's like this sci-fi book which it plays in the future, but it has a lot of references to the 1980s, and myself being born in the 1980s, I absolutely loved it, and I really knew most of the games or music or whatever they were talking about, so I absolutely love that book. So I decided to get another one by Ernest Cline, and so I got Armada. Also some kind of science fiction book, but I don't really know anything about it, and that's the way I like to have it. And I hope it's gonna be equally good as the Ready Player One book. The next book I have is Legend by Marie Lu. I think the other 2 books are also somewhere down here in the other boxes. That's also a book that's been on my wish list for quite some time. So the paperback version was a very good price, so I decided to get the paperback version of this one. And yeah, I'm really excited to get into this one. The last 2 books I got in that box are Million Suns and the Shades of Earth by Beth Revis. There's also the 3rd book, I think, either in one of these boxes or coming around the next couple of days. This, I think, is some kind of dystopian or science fiction series. Don't really know anything about it. It just, when I first saw it, it like sounded really interesting, so I put it on my wish list, and now I decided to get the paperback versions, which were really at a good price. So yeah, we're gonna dive into this one sometime this year, I guess. So then we have another Amazon box. Whoop. In this one we have this one book I've had on my wish list for some time too. It's Sold to the Seas by Ruta Sepetys. I actually wanted to have the hardcover of it, but it's kind of expensive on Amazon and the paperback was a lot cheaper, so I decided to get the paperback of it. This is kind of like a historical fiction book about the Second World War. And I've read the Book Thief by Markus Zusak and really liked it. I also like that kind of time period of the Second World War, because we really had that in school a lot of the time. So That's really something that sticks to me, and also which is kind of close to me too here. So that's why I want to read this one too. The next book I have in this box is The Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman. I don't really know anything about this book anymore. It's been on my wish list for quite some time. I think it's some kind of historical fiction, but that's pretty much all I know about it. But it really looks cool. I like the cover, so I'm gonna get into it sometime this year, I guess. Then the next one I have is The Archived by Victoria Schwab. I've seen this around Bookstagram. I think it's sometime at the beginning of last year or even in 2016. So it was on my wish list for quite some time, and now I decided to get it. And I don't really know anything about it. I absolutely don't. So now we get to my last small box. And these are two hardbacks. The first one is Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I read the Illumine Files, I think it was 2 years ago. Really liked it, especially like the writing style with all those files and stuff. I thought it was really cool, so I also decided to get the second book in that series and hope I'm gonna love it as much as the first one. Then the other book I have in that box is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. I actually just got that. I had it on my wish list for some time. Don't know anything at all about it. I just really like the emotion I get from that cover. So I decided to get it. It's not a big book. It's like, I guess 100 and something pages, 160 pages. So it's gonna be a really fast read. And I also have the other two books that go into this series on my wish list. I hope I'm gonna really like it. So now we're gonna get into my last box. That's the big one. That's this one here. There's like a little story to this book because I also ordered all these books here on Amazon, but they were like from some kind of marketplace, so they weren't coming from Amazon directly. They were coming from, I think, Book Outlet Germany. And after I put out the order, I got an email saying that they had to cancel my order. No reason why, just they wouldn't deliver. So I decided, oh, okay, I'm gonna get some of these books from somewhere else. And suddenly I have this box in front of my door with all the books in it. So there's at least one book in here that I got double now, which is And I Darken. But the others I didn't order yet, or one I could. One I had an order out. At least one of these books I could cancel the reorder I did, so yeah. But let's get into the ones I got here in that box. The first one is Frost Like Night by Sarah Rush. I think this is the second book in the series. I haven't even read the first one yet, but the price on this one was really good, so yeah, I decided to get that one. Then we have Never Ever by Sarah Sadie. I think that's some kind of Peter Pan retelling, and I really like Peter Pan, so I had to get this one. The next one, as I said, I had a double order with that one, is And I Darken. So yeah, got two of these now. I have to see what I'm gonna do with this one. Maybe I'm gonna donate it. I don't want to send it back, that's too much. The next book I have is The Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. I read The Truth Witch last year. I think it was in autumn or it was in fall. And I really liked it, so I wanted to get this one here too, the second one. I'm not sure if this now is the UK cover or the US cover, because I think, no, this must be the US cover, because the other one, the first one, Truth Witch, I bought in England, so this is obviously the UK cover, and they don't match, which is not really cool, but yeah. The next one I have is Reign of Shadows by Sophie Jordan. Whoop! By Sophie Jordan. I had that one on my wish list also for quite some time, so I don't really remember what it's about. It must be some kind of fantasy. I really like this, this cover with all these flowers and like these twigs these twigs here. It just looks really magical to me. Then I have the Star-Touched Queen by Roshani Chokshi and The Crown of Wishes. That's a duology, I think. Must be some kind of fantasy in like 2001 Nights. I don't really know, but it's definitely up my alley, so I'm gonna read these two. Then I have The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye. That's actually the other book I ordered, but I could cancel the second order I made, so I only have it once, which I'm happy about. I heard about this book by Benjamin of Poems. He really had high praises for this one, so I really want to get this one too, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Then the next book I have is Glittering Court by Richelle Mead. I haven't really read anything by her yet, but I've had this one on my wish list also for a very long time, so I got it. The only thing which is kind of sad about this one is that like the dust jacket is ripped here, but otherwise it's in a good shape. Then we have the last two books in this box. They are The Young World and The New Order by Chris Weiss. I think this is some kind of dystopian series. There's a third book to it, which I didn't order. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I know. So we're gonna get into these ones too, sometimes this year. Now I have a stack of 6 books, which I got for totally free from different locations. Some I got because they were standing like in a box outside of a house who was doing a clean out, and they just put them there to take for free. And also we have this book cabinet. Now it's even 2. We have 2 book cabinets in my city where you can put the books you don't want anymore, and other people can just take them out for free. It's like some kind of swapping thing. You don't have to put anything in to take something out, which is really cool. I found some really good books there already, and most of these are also from that book cabinet. The first 2 books I got for free are the ones that I found in that box outside the house who was doing the cleanup. And that's the first 2 books in the Eragon trilogy by Christopher Paolini. I've read these as a teenager, some way back, and I really loved it. So when I saw these in hardback sitting out there, I thought I might as well get them because I don't have them anymore. So, and maybe my kids will someday read those. At least my older son, he loves to read as much as I do. The younger, not that much, but maybe he will read them once too. Then the last 4 books are the ones I got from the book cabinets. First book is, I think it's a thriller. I'm not really that sure. It just really jumped at me with the bright cover. It's about some kind of disease that's going around the world, some kind of plague. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I know about it. It's really thick. And it's by Joe Hill. And it's called The Fireman. The next book I got from that book cabinet is a German book, and it's called Jägermond by Andrea Schacht. I don't know if there's an English version to this one, but I actually just picked it up for my son to read. He might like it, and I might also like to read it. So then the second to last book I got is The Whole Chronicles of Narnia, the movie edition. I've never read these, only watched the movies, and so when I saw this in English even, I decided to get this one, and maybe sometime I will read it. And then the very last book I got from the book cabinet is by Stephen King. It's November 22nd, 63. It's about the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and what would you do if you could turn back the time and prevent this from happening, and what would the consequences be? I haven't read one Stephen King book yet, but I found a lot of them in that book cabinet, so I really have to get into one of these. I tried to read It as a kid, and I really didn't like it. I just couldn't get into that story. Maybe I was too young for it, or was just totally overwhelmed by the size of the book, I guess, because Stephen King's books are always that big. And yeah, maybe now I will get into one of these and will enjoy them. And the cool thing is it's actually a paperback, no, it's a hardcover, and it's in really good condition, so yay for free books! So that's been my really big book haul for January. I hope you liked the books you saw, maybe you got some inspiration. If you have read any of these books and might give me some recommendations or some comments if you like them or not, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And I hope to see you soon back here on my channel. Thank you for watching, and bye!